Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Version 1.873, 294.stardate 7777. Uh, Sorry for the delay. I've got a whole bunch of technical stuff I'm trying to do behind the scenes with bringing these live streams to you guys and trying to do different things and trying to, I don't know, I guess break new ground because I'm the only one who's not doing it in a church and not doing it at a baseball field. So I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate some of the other stuff from what the other guys are doing into the stuff I'm doing here at the shop, and trying to mix and match and figure out ways to do that. It takes a little bit longer because I'm the only ding dong doing it. So I apologize for the delay. And I know it's midnight here and it's probably late where you are. So I apologize for that. Hey, Liz. So trying to get all this stuff, the technical stuff, set and working correctly and all of that, and testing all of that takes a little bit more time. So I apologize for the delay. I just want to bring you guys good stuff, and I don't want you bored. And still waiting for the email from Rockstar. Nothing yet. But I'm patient. So on the other front, in case you guys don't follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook. It's just my name on Facebook. It's just my name on Instagram. Nothing special. I did buy another race car yesterday. I bought a 1977 Chevy Monza 2+2. It is a former Lemons car, and it is a former drag car. It has a full cage in it. It's a 4.3 liter V6, the LV3 that Chevy made for vans and trucks. And I don't know the horsepower on it. I don't know anything else about it. I did kind of buy it sight unseen. I know the seller very, very well, and I trust him up and down. He's raced with us before. I've raced with him before. His company actually gave me my first semi-pro drive, which was very cool. So reliable seller. I know it's a good car, and we're going to have a ton of fun with it in Lemons because unlike the MR6, this one is one that we can weld stuff to the body. We don't really care. We're not trying to take it to SEMA or make it perfect. We're trying to make it reliable and quick and fun, easy for everyone to drive and safe. So even though I bought this car, I still have to put about, I don't know, between $2,000 and $4,000 into it in the next 6 weeks before it's ready to race. And that's without doing any paint or body work or anything. This is just all safety equipment. The fire suppression, the seat, the harnesses, wheels and tires. So there's a bunch of stuff that has to go into that. Even though when you buy a race car, you think it's kind of set up and ready to go for the track, it's actually not. There's still a lot that needs to get done. Very rarely is it turnkey. Yeah. So we will have 2 cars racing at Lemons at pit race. We will have the Monza and we will have the MR6. We will have different drivers for each cars. They'll kind of be separate cars, separate driver teams, but under the same Dickey Speedmaster Racing. So it should be a lot of fun. Also in the Monza, we won't have any of the technology that we do in the MR6. We won't have a bunch of cameras live streaming or anything like that. We'll have GoPro and we'll upload those videos later, but we won't have any kind of live streaming in that car for now. When I figure out a better combination, maybe, live stream 2.0, like what we have in the MR6, but a newer version, maybe we put that in the Monza. So we haven't figured that out yet. We just want to get the car back to my shop in Ohio, get all the fluids, get it all cleaned out, get all the safety stuff. Just for reference, the fire suppression system by itself is $1,200. That's just for the fire suppression system. So that's not seat, which is easily $1,000. Harnesses, $500. You can go up to $1,000 in harnesses. And I have to do this on both cars. I have to do seat and harness on the MR6 as well because they expired. So trying to be smart with money, but still go out racing. Then it's, $2,000 to enter the car. And then everyone has to, pay for hotel and gas and all this stuff. It adds up really quick. It can be, with 2 cars, you can have a $5,000 or $8,000 weekend, but it's a ton of fun and we love racing. And pit race is one of the best facilities in the country. So you're racing at a very, very, very nice track with a bunch of very, very, very cool people. And a lot of friends in Ohio are close, so they can come and race with us as well. So that's the update on the race scene. The limo, I'm trying desperately to get that down here and get that running, driving, and working properly, because I have more time now to work on the limo, and I don't have to wait for the weather. In Ohio, I had to wait for the weather a bunch in order to move it. If there's 4 inches of snow, I can't move that car. And if it's 5 below, I can't move that car, or I can't move the race car because it only has water in the cooling system and it'll freeze and it'll crack everything. So there's a lot of weather dependent stuff that I had in Ohio that I don't have down here. The one thing I do have down here are crocodiles and huge spiders and big snakes and all that stuff. So I have to be kind of careful. But I had a spider in the house. I swear, you guys, he was the size of like a hamburger bun. He was huge. Don't worry, I got him outside. I didn't kill him, because if I kill him, I'm going to make a huge mess. I mean, it'd be like stepping on a Big Mac. So just shoot him outside, and he can take off. And he took off the far side of the pool cage. So yeah. And at night when I'm by the pool, I hear all these crazy sounds out by the trees and in the bushes, in the yard, the lot behind the house. And I don't know what the hell's out there. So just trying to be careful and trying to be smart. But the nice part is I can work on it. I can work on the limo. I can work on any of the cars year round, which is very, very nice. I don't have to be frozen. I don't have to, go heat the shop and do all this other stuff. I can actually walk outside pretty much 24 hours a day and work on the car. The downside is the limo doesn't fit in this garage. This garage is only 22 feet deep. The limo is 26 feet long. So the limo will be outside for a lot of that stuff. The good news is I can still do the live streams with you guys. The Wi-Fi reaches out there, so it shouldn't be a problem. What else we got? Yeah, yeah, the spider was pretty gnarly. But the gator down the street is a little more gnarly. And there is a huge, 7-8 foot gator who sort of hangs out in, I think it's about 6 houses down. And he hangs out in the guy's front yard. He comes up from the canals. There's a canal system here that runs out to the Gulf. He comes up from the canal during the day, hangs out, just spread out on the guy's lawn, soaking up the sun, and then goes back out in the canal in the evening. But he's huge, very, very big swamp dog. So, yeah, and that's like right down the street. So definitely, keep an eye out for gators and stuff like that. What did you say? No, they're not adorable. And the easiest way to deal with gators is just leave them the hell alone. They're going to go do what they want to do. They've been around for hundreds of millions of years. Leave them alone. Let them go do their stuff. They're not going to bother you if you're not going to bother them. It's super simple. So gators are easy. Don't mess with them. They won't mess with you. It's pretty standard. Driving past, I stuck my camera out the window and got a couple pictures of him, and that's good enough for me. I don't need to go pet him. There's no need for that. There's professional. There's Steve Irwins and Jeff Corwins and stuff like that. Those guys can do all that stuff. It's all them. They got way more experience. So the wildlife is a little different down here. And the other thing, like with the Miata, an armadillo was in the road. He'd been hit by another vehicle, but I didn't get out of the way in time, and I didn't see him. It was at night, and I hit the armadillo with the Miata, and holy crap, I don't know what those little things are made out of, but man, I know they're made out of, their scales are like our fingernails and toenails. They're really, really tough. But holy crap, the sound it made was pretty serious. So there are animals and stuff to look out for when you're driving down here. So tonight, I've been trying to do all this technical stuff. So I've waited on doing the Miata stuff so I could get the tech stuff to you guys. But the tech stuff kind of bombed out tonight. So I'm going to at least try and get some of the Miata stuff done so that when the tech stuff does work, I can get back to you guys and we can I don't know. I really want this thing on the ground. I'm tired of it up on jack stands. So I want it on the ground just as bad as you guys do, especially when it's sunny and 80 degrees outside. This is the perfect car for it. So I'm going to try and knock some of that stuff out tonight and maybe save some of the other stuff for when I get the other camera stuff rolling, and we can use it for that. So I'm going to bring you guys in tonight. I'm going to use the laptop again. So you'll have to excuse me with the angles, and if you see the keyboard or I'm not in the shot or whatever, my apologies. Like I said, I'm doing this by myself. So I have to cover all the bases: audio, video, streaming, everything. So I'm going to put on some bitch mittens, and we're going to go in. First thing we're going to do is there's 3 lines for the Miata power steering. Now, do you have your high pressure line? Let's see, who else is here? Temp user. It just says temp user, so I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you found the channel. 2 American Gators growing up. Oh, cool. Yeah, the big wolf spiders are kind of hairy. Temp user, if you tell me who you are, probably remember you. Hopefully I remember you. So in the Miata, you have 3 lines for the power steering. You have your supply line, which is hooked up to your reservoir, and this is truck bed linered. I truck bed linered this thing just to protect it. The original paint was just fine. It's just an enamel. And then we have our supply line, and then here we have our return line. But on the pump, we have our high pressure line. So it goes from here to the pump, and then from the high pressure line down to the steering rack, from the steering rack back up to the return line. So that's how the hoses work on a Miata. Oh, hey, Pete. Oh, you see the Miata, you click. Oh, well, shit, get out of the way, man. It's a 96 NA. I've probably got 20 grand into this car. It's such a great car. We track it, cruise around in it. It's a lot of fun. I love this car. Absolutely love it. Anybody that tells you, oh, Miata is, nice hairdresser car, right up until they drive one. And then they're on Marketplace and they're like, hey, I got to go get a Miata. I need an NA or an NV. Yeah. Yep. So Pete, if you're a Miata fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as you drive it, you drive your buddy's Miata, you're like, no, this is dumb fun. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I have a 640 horsepower Viper right there, and I have a ton of fun in this car. I actually want to put matching silver stripes on this to make it a mini Viper, like the big Viper. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we're going to tail the dragon and try and blend in this year. Yeah, so we're going to put the new components in. I have the hard lines in that are back on the steering rack. You guys saw the paint and clear coat and stuff that went on that stuff. So the steering rack is back in. I might have to move the steering rack, like remove the main mounts and slide it out in order to access some of the hard lines. Like the hard line down there for the return, there's a soft line that goes in between this and the hard line return at the rack. And I may have to move the rack out just a little bit in order to access that. So I have to take the 4 bolts out for the steering rack so that I can slide it sort of out of the way. The other thing that I have not done yet is picked up the new castle nuts for the tie rod ends for the ball joints, because I haven't gone to the hardware store. So I will do that. And we definitely need those. I think they're nylock on there. So I'll get new nylock ones. And so, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in place, and that will tell me where my soft line, which is this guy, and he's marked with a whole bunch of tape, and he already has the clamps on him. And this was the bare line that I got from the AutoZone O'Reilly's Advanced, and I used the heat gun and the spring steel to get him into shape. And he goes on here. Red tells me he goes to the top, and then he goes down that way. I think he goes on the inside like this. Trying to remember how all these guys get routed. But this guy goes on here and then he goes down to the steering rack. So I need to put this on here, mounted in place, and that will tell me where that steering rack one gets angled. Then I can go down there, tighten it up, put this on, clamp him. The tape is there to keep the clamps from falling off. Get him clamped, and then put this guy in, slide this guy in place, and clamp him. That's it. This one I have really great access to. So he's a brand new hose, and he has a little protective shield. So I do have a spare protective shield down here. I don't think I'm using it on this. So we'll do this guy first. And I just test drove an 06. Okay. 06 with a blower. Yeah. NCs, there's nothing wrong with the NCs. They're pretty big, large in size. They're larger than the NAs and NBs, but you do have a lot more tech in there, and you have a lot better engine management. So depending on the supercharger that you got with it, if it was from Jackson or SMS, or depending on who you got it from, you probably have a pretty sweet ride. That should be a lot of fun, especially at autocross and at track days. You'll have a really good time with it. And on the highway, superchargers are great because you put the dumb stuff behind you. You see some guy weaving in and out, just put him behind you. Another thing, and this is why people think I'm weird. I'm so anal retentive. I actually put the spring clips in the same direction, and I angle them accordingly to how the hose is going to sit in there and which side of the spring clip pliers are going to grab. So this is like weird level OCD stuff, but it helps when you're taking stuff on or off. And it also gives a really clean look when it's all together, because everything is kind of lined up. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with Miata stuff. I've done so much work on the car. This is actually the original engine. I had a temporary engine that I got from a guy in Dayton, and rebuilt that, and then put it in the car while my friend Joey rebuilt this engine with 150,000 miles on it. And so this is basically, I think this engine has probably 3,000 miles on it, 2,000 miles on it. It runs great. It absolutely runs great. And I still have the spare Miata engine, but it's at the shop in Ohio. So just in case anything happens to this, we have a spare engine. So I'm going to put that reservoir in place. Just do the bolts in, sort of very temporary. I'm going to get this hose on and get it lined up, and that'll show me where that hard line down at the bottom of the steering rack will need to go. So a simple thing with this is to just add some WD-40. It helps. I know this is all, it just helps to lube stuff up. Everything is so phallic, right? You get the hose and the tip and everything else, right? Also, doing it this way will tell me if I need to shorten this hose at all. I think I got them really close to the original, but doing it this way will help me decide. I did the bends so that that's another OCD thing for me. All the writing should be hidden. It should be underneath. It should just look like a black hose when it's in place. How long have I had this for? 12 years, 13 years. Yeah, I've had this for a while. Oh, this light finally ran out. Let's put him back on the charger. Get our other light here. Come on. Oh, you don't want to charge? No? Why aren't you charging? All right, we'll figure that one out later. Get this guy. And I should actually get the other light too. I'll show you guys where this reservoir goes. Oh, it goes to the inside. Oh, where did my, oh wow, I think he's gonna be he's gonna be basically the perfect length. Nice. I'm just feeling for the stopper down here. That gets him away from the AC, gets him away from the coolant. So this guy's gonna be really, really, really close. Okay. So there's 2 bolts to hold that reservoir in place. One of them is longer than the other. I'll try and show you guys this. One of them is longer than the other. That's because he holds this little wire catch, and that wire catch is for the AC. It is for, yes, the AC relay on and off. So that's what that wire catch is for. But we don't really need this right now. We just need the bolts to hold everything in place while we get the rest of this stuff in place. And I swear this prop rod could not be in a worse place. I'm going to do this back one first. Maybe I'm not. Maybe my hands are too big to get in there. Let me grab a 10 mil. Most of the stuff in the Miata engine bay is 10 mil or 12 mil. Sometimes there's 13s, but it's pretty rare. So I'm gonna have to hold this on the reservoir and then get him in place. Again, I don't need him anything more than finger tight. We'll come back and zoom him in once we get all the hoses and everything back where it all needs to go. Although there's a bunch of crap inside the threads in there. So I'm going to give it a little help with a wrench on this one. This is on the mounting deck on that subframe. There's just a bunch of crap, bunch of corrosion. Okay, since we're here, we'll do this guy. Yeah, you can see a bunch of the crap just comes out. This is formerly an Ohio car, so he's got a ton of rust everywhere. Everywhere. I want to do that in a Gary Oldman voice. You know, everyone. But I watched Tiptoes the other night. If you guys have never seen this movie, it's so bizarre. It's Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman, Kate Beckinsale. There's a whole, it's so bizarre. And it's a movie about little people, about dwarfs. And Matthew McConaughey has a twin brother who is a dwarf, and he's normal size. And his twin brother is played by Gary Oldman. And then his whole family is dwarves, but he is the normal sized person. It is so bizarre. It is a very, very bizarre movie. If you get a chance, where was it on? It was on, I think it was on Amazon Prime or on Netflix. Whew. Wow. It is also not the Matthew McConaughey that we all love. It is a different Matthew McConaughey, early acting career, whatever. Very, very odd movie. Very just not what you expect. And it's not odd because of the little people. It is odd because of the direction the movie goes, how all of these people are interacting. That's the odd part. Oh, and Peter Dinklage is in it too. He's great. He plays this like crazy French guy, and Patricia Arquette is his girlfriend. It's awesome. They're very funny. Whoops. So yeah. Very interesting movie. Put our lube away. Don't want someone's elbow squishing it out all over the comforter or whatever. Yeah. What do I have into the Miata? The better question is, what haven't I touched on the Miata? What I haven't touched on the Miata are the doors, the front and rear fenders, and the nose. That's it. And the windshield. I do have a chip in the windshield. Kind of drives me crazy. Everything else I've touched on this car. BC coilovers, you can see there. I have full powder coated suspension. I have Flying Miata end lengths. The roll bar is, I want to say it's from Hotchkiss. I don't remember where it's from. No, Eibach roll bars, front and back, anti-roll bars. And drilled and slotted rotors in the front and slotted in the rear. I've been through this engine bay 5,000 times with all the engine replacement stuff. Boss Frog roll bars, NB seats, the original NA seats. While they're awesome, they have little speakers in the headrest. They were very torn up when I got the car. So I got the NB seats, and I've had them for, I don't know, 10 or 11 years. And the driver's seat is just starting to get some little rippage action. So I'll probably go back to regular NA seats just because it's cool to have the speakers. I have a different stereo in there. This one actually has CarPlay, which is weird. And yeah, I've been through pretty much the entire car. The Declan's been repainted. I have a Wings West spoiler on the back. I have the clear turn signals up front. A guy in the UK made the NACA duct headlight cover. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff on the car. I'll bring you guys into the engine bay. You can take a look around. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm just reading your guys' comments. I'm trying to catch up on stuff. I got to move this off of my cardboard plate so that you guys can get a little closer with Aaron. I don't think anybody I need to get that joke. I'm just going to move it and throw it out of the way. All right. Bring you guys in here. So here's our Miata engine bay. And Pete, you were asking about stuff I've done in here. Pretty much everything in the engine bay has been out and put back in. The strut tower bar, I don't remember where that came from. It's adjustable. It is really nice. I'm happy with that. I still have great access here. All of this stuff is Cerakoted. The intake, throttle body, valve cover, and the exhaust are all Cerakoted, along with the temperature housing and what else? A bunch of other stuff. We have all new silicone hoses in here from a company called G Plus. I got their kit. We have a new radiator here from Yonaka. It's not a Mishimoto. I'm not going to pay for that, especially when this is what all the spec Miata guys run. They run the Yonaka, which is the same two-stage dual-core radiator with about half the price. It's the exact same thing. And there's a whole bunch of, like I said, new hoses and painted parts that have been, replaced. This original line, and yeah, this guy's dying too. Damn it. This is where one of my vac leaks is coming from. This is the original PCV hose, and he's cracking right here. So I'm going to see if I can get another one of those. I got one of this chrome one. Originally, I had just the rubber one that came around here with the two mounts. This chrome one came from Midwest Miata parts, down at Midwest Miata. And I do like the metal just because, if I'm bonking into it, I don't know, it makes the valve cover a little safer. I do miss the original rubber tubing. So now that this is cracked, I might see if I can find an original rubber one. And then I got to go dig through my spare parts to find the original clamps. But I might just replace this. This would be a lot easier to replace. I'm kind of bummed that's leaking, but that's how it goes. We have factory cruise control in here. We do not have ABS. We do have a new brake booster. We have the OEM. We have a new clutch, master cylinder, and that clutch fluid looks dark. Might have to change that out soon. This is an OBD2 car, but it also has the OBD1 port, so you can still do OBD1 stuff on it with the paper clip, which is always fun. You have to count like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and yeah, then you figure out the code from that. It's nutty to do it through OBD1, but it works. We have braided lines all the way around for the brakes. Here's our anti-roll bar, which is also powder coated. And the stuff that's powder coated is powder coated to match the roll bar. I believe, I want to say it's Cascade Silver, but that's not right. I don't remember what the color is. But Performance Powder Coatings in Columbus, they did the color, and they still have it. Like I said, they did all the control arms, front and rear. We have all new bushings through here from Prothane, and that's about it. So yeah, we have basically an all new, brand new suspension in here, and this thing handles fantastic, absolutely fantastic. New plug wires from Denso, and I think that's kind of it. The coil pack was replaced. I got that from the other engine. And what else? Trying to think what else. A lot of this stuff is still OEM, like the throttle cable and, a lot of the wiring for like the AC relays and some of the headlight stuff. We do have a camera in the front of the car, so we have some camera wiring here. That's kind of it. New wiper blades. I don't know if that counts as a mod. 20 came to the car. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to get another light. Shoot, I think it's inside the house. Hang on. All right, here we go. Okay. I'm going to put this light over here. Now, this is the difficult part with working on the steering rack because you have everything in the way. Your headers are in the way. Your coolant line is in the way. The AC is in the way. The power steering pump is actually not in the way. But you do have a lot of stuff that is in the way. So I guess I decided against bitch mittens. And where did... I didn't block off this line earlier, so probably gonna leak. He's been looking steadily for, you guys can see the red there. He's been looking steadily for a few days. But we have cat litter under there, so he's okay. And he'll be closed up soon enough. These guys, this is our high pressure line here. I should bring you guys around to kind of to the front of the car, maybe. See if I can do that. If I can just slide this out of the way, I'll bring you guys to the front. That way you can sort of see which side I'm working on here. So you can see the headers here. You can see the coolant line. That one is in the way to get down to the steering. So a lot of the steering stuff you get from underneath the car. You have your main steering shaft here. You have a U-joint here. And the line I'm looking for, here's our return line. So he's going to go in between the AC compressor and that coolant line. And we will rotate him, I think, to get him sort of in the way. And then we're going to find out where we need our return line, because the return line is still loose down there. So he needs to be about literally right in the middle of the two hard lines that are down there. So now I'm going to go underneath the car, and I think that one's a 15. I'm going to see if I can tighten him up. I'm going to see if I can tighten him up from down there. And then, well, actually what I should do is I should slide this line on. Actually, do I need to trim him? Hang on a sec. Because I can't feel both there. Yeah, I'm actually going to trim him. Oh, this is a tight fit. The old lines came off very easily. These new lines, damn, they are no joke. And I'm twisting the lines as I'm pulling back on them. That helps release them. I'm going to take about 10 millimeters off of the end of this guy. Just a little tiny bit. And I'm going to have to go around the back of the car because you guys are right there. Okay. So give me a second here. I just want to take a little off this, not a lot, just a little. Because I think he's going to flex. Those clamps are so sharp. I really wish I had different those clamps, but I don't want to stretch him so that he goes so straight. But I don't want to keep him so long that he bends and flexes and causes a crimp, right? That's what we don't want. Oh, this almost kept straight. Jesus. Because my blade flexed. All right. Yeah, my blade flexed a little too much there. I'm getting him straightened up here. A little bit. It looks a little cleaner. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, my X-Acto blade didn't quite cut very flush or smooth. Show you guys another cool trick. I don't know if I have a lighter here. Okay. So just show you guys from this side. So when you trim the ends, you're going to have fraying in the braiding that's there. You can just take a lighter and that kind of crimps those ends. You can use the lighter to mush it down, and that'll prevent those ends from fraying any further. Hopefully. Hopefully. That's what we don't want. So now what we'll do, actually, we should do that on both ends, right? We'll put this one on the lower one first. It's kind of convoluted to do this just because you have a bunch of, I have like three moving parts, so it's kind of a pain to move this stuff around and get it set in position because you don't want it to move. And this is going to be so difficult. There's no room for my hand in here. And where I put the light actually blocks what I'm trying to do. Oh my God. This is so hard. I cannot. Oh my gosh, I cannot get my hand in here. I have to be able to support that tube on the backside as I press this guy on. But I can't see him going on because I have that coolant line in the way. Oh my God. And everything is lubed up. Oh, come on. I'm just about halfway there. I know. Sorry, you guys. I'm blocking your view here. That's why I wanted that other camera to work, so that I could put it here on the edge and you guys could see what I'm doing here. You know what I'm wondering now? As if, no. Okay. This is so difficult. That tube. Okay, first off, my hand, I'm going to try and show you guys how my hand is going in. My hand is going in, up, and then like this. And that's the only movement I have. Also, all of my fingers are spread out. So in, up, spread out. That's how hard it is to get into there. I'm going to try a little shot. Oh, I'm going to scoot you guys closer so I can go behind all of this. So apologies again for moving the camera around. All right. It is just such a tight fit in there. And if you've ever worked on a motorcycle, you know how tight they get all these components. It's the same thing in a Miata. They put so much stuff in such a small little space. And it's very normal for them. They have, very small hands, and it's a normal thing. So it's not a huge issue. They don't have huge, bear claws like this. So for them to work on stuff, it's not a big deal. They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So let's try and get this. We'll try and get this done. So the hard line that comes up through there is sort of L-shaped like this. So I have to support it. Otherwise it'll just crunch and fold over because I'm pressing down really hard. So he has like this tube here. And then if I don't, he'll just crunch down. So I have to support him with the left hand. So that's how I'm going down, in, and then kind of over. And now my fingers spread out to support him. Then I'm pushing down really hard on that tube while twisting it, trying to get it on. And it's a much, I guess it's not a much larger fitting, but that's why I didn't want to get the 3/8 hose because it's only 9.6 millimeters diameter. And then what I need is the 10 millimeter hose, which is OEM. That makes it a lot easier to get this on. So this will have a little tighter fit, but it's a huge pain in the ass to take on and off. Oh, hey Pete, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for subscribing, man. We'll do a ton more Miata stuff. Don't worry. I love working on this thing. I bitch about it, but I do like working on it. So now we've got a little bit of WD-40 on there. So this is why everybody should just go metric. Suck it up. Go metric. Make everyone's life so much easier. So much easier. And the light, there's no room for the light down there, so I can't tell if it's actually sliding down or if it's just my hand sliding down. And I can't tell if the other boot back here for the steering shaft is preventing it from sliding down. Okay. This is a lot more difficult than it should be. And it's all because you can't get 10 millimeter tubing. That's why this is so damn difficult. So let me see here. Whoa. Oh, I'm getting a ton of notifications here. I really don't want to take this line off because it's very, very difficult to put back in. But it might be the only way I can get this hose on there. There's just no way. It's not sliding any further. All right. Wow. This is difficult. So let's go over wrench. I believe he's a 15 now. I don't remember what size he is. He might be a 16. Of course, you cannot get him from this side. There is no way. Nope. Not going to happen. So let's try something different. Maybe, possibly. I don't think this big wrench is actually going to work. Yeah, because he'll be there. He fits on there, but then there's no way You cannot turn him. There's no way. He just, in every direction, even if you try and go at a weird angle, he's caught like this. There's no way. I need a stubby 18, which isn't a thing. So I need to figure out a different way to do this. Or come in from a different angle. I'm going to try maybe coming in from underneath. I have no clue if I can get to him from under here. I'm going to take a look quick. Again, there's so much stuff in the way. Like, I can't even see him here. I have every AC line and the actual steering rack in the way to get access to this guy. So even if I come from this side underneath the AC compressor, hitting it at an angle, nope. And again, big nope with this wrench. Oh, possibly. Yeah, he doesn't want to come off of there. All right. So we're just going to have to keep pushing from up on top because without dropping the whole steering rack, there's absolutely no way to access that. Whoop. That was me. I'm trying to get out from underneath the car without bonking into you guys. So I apologize for that. Okay. That's not going to work. There's no way to get to that thing from, God, I hate these cabinets. There's no way to get to that thing from up here. I can see it from here, but I cannot get to it. I can try the flutter wrench, but I don't think that's going to work. The flare wrench is a maybe, because again, he's a little bit shorter. But I don't see him fitting on there. Maybe. Oh, he moved about 2 millimeters. No, did he? Again, I can't see anything. So, oh, okay. Well, don't lock that wrench in there. That would be bad. See if I can pull him out by hand now, which I cannot get any leverage on that. It's like a big 17 millimeter, and I'm trying to use the very tip pad of my finger and the tip pad of my thumb. There's no way. Not going to happen. So I'm probably going to have to drop the steering rack even just to tighten that up. So, damn it. Let me see if I can get this on up here, because I'd really rather not pull the steering rack out. It is only 4 bolts, but God damn it. that my hand is at such a brutal angle, and then to try and go like this, it's really hard to get in there. So yeah, we're gonna have to pull the steering rack out. There's no way. The tubing is about halfway down the hard line that it needs to go. So I'm gonna have to pull the steering rack out and just let it hang from the tie rods so that I can get that on, set it in place, make sure, well, I know where it needs to go. So then I can tighten everything down. Then I can put the steering rack back in place, and the tubing can come up and go right to the reservoir, and I can be done. So I do have to pull the steering rack out of there. So I'm going to save steering rack removal for tomorrow with you guys. Hopefully that's okay. It's stupid late here, and that's really, really frustrating that I have to do the 4 bolts for the steering rack come out, the mounts for them come off with the rubber, and then the steering rack will come down, and that will give me access to all of those hard lines there. I can set that one at the angle that I need it to. I can get the hose on there, get it clamped. Then I can put it back up in place. Then I can do all the stuff on the top side. So I'll save that for tomorrow afternoon. I'll do an early one for you guys so that you can come here. You know, it won't be midnight, 1 a.m. And let's see, Pete said it was almost 2 o'clock where he is. So he's in Canada, which is cool. And he's over, God, he's got to be a Newfie, or he's got to be on PEI. And PEI has some of the best mussels in the world. If you're a seafood fan, PEI mussels, they're like junior bacon cheeseburgers. They're huge. They're awesome. So if you get a chance, man, PEI mussels, definitely a good way to go. So yeah, I'll come back. I'll do the steering rack out. I'll get those hoses in position and clamp tight. And then we'll come back tomorrow. I'll do another live, and we'll finish up all of the tubing, all of the soft lines, and all of the clamps. And I'll show you guys how to bleed air out of the Miata power steering system. It is not complex, but you do need to have the car off the ground. So that'll be the last thing we do before put the wheels back on. Actually, I'll probably just put the wheels back on. And then we'll lower it to the ground, take it for a test drive, check fluid level and all of that. So we'll do that stuff tomorrow. I'll do that in the afternoon so that, you know, some of the other people who aren't staying up until 2 in the morning get a chance to watch this stuff. So hopefully that works for you guys. If that's cool, you can see how difficult it is. And then you can also see my frustration between inch and metric. And this is why the entire world should be on the metric system. I'm a big believer in that. I appreciate inch. I understand everything that it's done. You know, we still run miles on our car, and 200 miles an hour is the goal. But for me, it's so much easier to run the metric system. I worked for a manufacturer that was German, and everything was metric, literally. It makes life so much easier. 4 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 6, 10 mil. Now I'm having to divide by 16 and double it and add 30 and all this other shit. It's just not worth it. It's so much work. You know, there's only 2 countries left in the world that there's us and Myanmar, and that's it. That's it that runs inch and foot. We're past that. We've evolved past that. Go to millimeters. So yeah, when you have a 3/8 hose that's supposed to go on a 10 millimeter hard line, it's going to be really difficult to put on there. The good part is you have a very nice tight fit, but it's very difficult to put on. So when I do the PCV, this is also 10 millimeter. So if I use the 3/8 line, yeah, it'll be really tight, but it's going to be very difficult to put on. So the good part is I did spot that crack in the PCV. So I'll get that. I'll pick up one of those tomorrow and get that replaced. I might replace this guy too, just because he's from the same era. I don't know. I'll see if I can find OEM parts. Maybe Darren has them. But I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. I apologize it wasn't a finished thing, but that's how difficult it is and how tight it is. and we have, huge hands, makes it very difficult to get in there and get those little tiny, oh, I almost got it. And you're doing this. And you're like, oh, crap. And you have to get 50 foot-pounds of torque on there with, index finger and middle finger. It doesn't work. It's really hard. So you have to take stuff apart, torque it down, and then put it back together. And having the AC lines in the way is a huge mess. And then having the rest of the stuff, it's so tight in there. So hopefully I can get the other camera up tomorrow. You guys can see, you'll be able to see straight down in there, and you'll be able to see exactly what my hands are doing versus sort of at an angle coming in weird like we were doing with the laptop tonight. So I'll try and get that up and running for tomorrow afternoon as well. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Thank you very much. All the subscribers, you guys are great. I really appreciate that. I love seeing the emails and the messages I get from YouTube. When I sign on, I get these messages saying, XYZ subscribe to your channel. I love seeing those. Those are awesome. So I appreciate you guys very much. And also working on the site logo, Kev Shop. So I should say channel logo. I don't have a site. So I will do, once we get the logo done, we're going to do merch. We're going to do t-shirts and hats and hoodies. And I don't know yet. I think t-shirts, hats, and hoodies are going to be the start. And we'll have some fun phrases on there too. So I'll keep you guys updated on all the merch stuff, because I've gotten a bunch of messages about the merch stuff, and I want to get that out to you guys because I think that's fun. And hopefully we see a pit race with the other car, the Monza. Again, I'll do updates when I go back to Ohio. I'll definitely do updates on the Monza and on the MR6. You guys can see the new braking system we have on the MR6, which is going to be awesome. And then I'll take you on a tour of the Monza, and maybe we can do a multi-camera thrill ride in the Monza, make sure everything's 100% on that. That would be fun. And then we'll definitely see you guys at pit race, and that's in the middle of April. I want to say 13, 14. I don't remember the exact dates. So definitely keep that on your calendar. It's what, 6 weeks away. And yeah, thanks again for hanging out tonight. We'll do more tomorrow afternoon, and that's about it. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. I'll see you guys and girls.